Greetings and sanitation, Phil fans. Thompson here. Now, since Emma Thompson has not one but two movies out this month, she has Late Night, which opens this week and nationwide next week, and she's also in Men in Black International, which also comes out next week. I decided to do my top 10 favorite Emma Thompson movies because she's a goddess. She's such a really great actress. I mean, I don't even think she has an Oscar on her mantle. Yeah, I should maybe double check, but if she does not have an Oscar, I have no idea why she doesn't have one. Because I think she's a terrific actress, and I mean, I don't even think she has an honorary Oscar. Like, come on, Oscars, what are you doing? Give Emma Thompson some sort of honorary Oscar or whatever, because she deserves it, and she's been in some really great stuff over the years, and I've always liked Emma Thompson in films. So that being said, here's my 10 favorite Emma Thompson movies. Coming in at number 10 is Howard's End. Now, this film is based on the classic book by E.M. Forster, and the film tells the story of the poor relationship of Margaret Schigel, played by Emma Thompson, who inherits who ends up inheriting part of the estate of Ruth Wilcox, played by Vanessa Redgrave, who's an upper class woman whom she had been befriended with for a while, and so the film's other characters includes pretty much includes Henry Wilcox, played by Anthony Hopkins, who's actually Ruth's husband. You also got Margaret's sister named Helen, played by Helena Bonham Carter, and you also got the working class clerk Leonard Bass, played by Sam West, and his wife, played by Nicola Duffa. It's a pretty decent film. There's been other adaptations of Howard's End. Of course, most recent Stars had a Howard's End miniseries. I kind of like the 90s film. Emma Thompson, I thought she was a great Margaret. Now, granted, I never read the books of Howard's End. I've only seen the movies, so I cannot really, compare Emma Thompson's Margaret character to the Margaret in the books. So, yeah. And the movie was also directed by James Overy, who also won a Oscar for Best Screenplay for Call Me by Your Name. He did a pretty good job at directing this. I really liked when he directed this. It also has like I said, it had great performances. Great interesting story. I mean, the love the romance intertwined in this was pretty good. I also like the chemistry between Thompson and Carter. Their sister chemistry, their bonding in this was pretty cool. I love Anthony Hopkins. He was terrific. Really decent film. Coming in at number 9 is The Remains of the Days. Now, this film also features Anthony Hopkins in it. And the film takes place in the 1930s, and it's about James Stevens, played by Anthony Hopkins, who serves as as a proper English butler to Lord Darlington, played by James Fox. And so he ends up being dedicated that he forgoes visiting his father on his deathbed in order to serve, and overlooks Darlington's Nazi sympathies and growing anti-Semitism. So 20 years later, after his employee's death, Stephen ends up reconnecting with Miss Cannon, played by Emma Thompson, who's the housekeeper, and he begins to pretty much fall for her. I really like the chemistry between Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. They were both pretty good in this. The movie it's also based on a book, by the way. And there's been some other, adaptations. This film was also directed by James Overy, who's pretty big with these type of films. I think it's been a while since James directed anything, but anyway. Yeah, it's a pretty decent film. I mean, it is a bit slow. Like, I don't. This movie's probably not gonna appeal to everyone, but it's still a pretty decent film and has good performances by Hopkins and Thompson. And Thompson was terrific. So yeah, give this one a go if you guys haven't seen it yet. Coming in at number 8 is actually mostly her voice work. Now, this is just her a narration work, but it's still a great movie. That is Stranger Than Fiction. Here's the cool premise. Like, in it, you got a mentally unstable IRS auditor, played by Will Ferrell, who actually hears an author's voice in his head, and he wants to try. He's pretty much hearing Emma Thompson's character's voice all throughout the whole film. See how it's more of a narration flick, and you also have Queen Latifah. You had Dustin Hoffman plays a professor in this. Really amazing movie, and Will Ferrell, he could show that he could do more than just straight up comedy. He's actually really, he gave a really good performance in this film. And even though it's not really, even though it's just a voiceover work, Emma Thompson gave an amazing performance here. And I think Emma Thompson probably could have gotten an Oscar nomination for this. I know the Oscars probably don't really give Oscar nominations to voiceover performances. I mean, if they did, Scarlett Johansson would have got one for her. But I still think, Emma Thompson probably could have scored some sort of nomination for this because she was that good here. And it was pretty cool hearing Emma Thompson, narrate Will Ferrell's life here. And, yeah, there are other voices out there besides Morgan Freeman who could narrate someone's life. I think it would have been funny if it was Morgan Freeman, but Emma Thompson, she knocked it out of the park here. Coming in at number 7 is Nanny McPhee. Now this is kind of similar to this movie is seriously like Mary Poppins. I mean, in it, a widower named Cedric Brown, played by Colin Firth, hires a nanny named Nanny McPhee, played by Thompson, to take care for his 7 children who have chase away all the other nannies. Taunted by Simon, played by Thomas Sangster from from Maze Runner fame, and his siblings, Nanny McPhee ends up using mystical powers to instill discipline. And you also got Angela Lansbury as the great aunt named Lady Adeline Stitch, who tries to separate the kids and the family that puts together under the guidance of Nanny McPhee. This is really great. It has some cool magic in it. It's like I said, it's like Mary Poppins in a way. And of course, Emma Thompson is no stranger for Mary Poppins, because I'm gonna get you that later on. But yeah, that's really great movie. And also, she did a sequel called Nanny McPhee Returns, which I didn't really care much for the sequel. But the first Nanny McPhee is awesome. If you guys never seen Nanny McPhee yet, it's really great. And Emma Thompson looked really unrecognizable here. They really did a great job with her makeup. And yeah, I believe this movie is also based on a book, which of course I never read. I mean, I'm not much of a book reader. But still, the Nanny McPhee movie is really great. Alright, coming in at number 6 is Sense and Sensibility. Now, this is, of course, based on the book by Jane Austen. And this film was directed by Alan Rickman and starred the likes of Kate Winslet, Emma Thompson. In it, Emma Thompson plays a woman named Eleanor Dashwood, whose father dies and her family's finances are crippled. So like after the Dashwood moves into a cottage in Devonshire, Eleanor's sister Marianne, played by Kate Winslet, is torn between the handsome John Willoughby, played by Greg Wise, and the older Colonel Brandon, played by the late great Alan Rickman. And so like meanwhile, Eleanor's romantic hope, like she ends up wanting to romance Edward Ferrars, played by Hugh Grant. And so like both Eleanor and Marianne like strive for love, and while the surfacisms in their lives constantly change for the greater good. It's a pretty good story. I mean, like I said, I never read the book, but it's pretty decent. You know, Emma Thompson, she was great as Eleanor. You also like I said, Alan Rickman also was the director of this. He did a great job at directing this. I mean, Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson worked together lots of times. I mean, Alan Rickman is in this list a couple of times as well, because I believe they were like very good friends. Before Alan Rickman passed, they were like very very good friends, and they did some really interesting stuff together. And Sense and Sensibility is one of them. It's a really nice romance. It's a love story. Really cool film, and of course, it's a period piece movie. There's that. Yeah, if you guys never seen it, check it out. All right, coming in at number. Coming in at number 5 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, this film also obviously features Alan Rickman as Professor Snape, and in it, Emma Thompson plays the Professor Silva Patricia Trelawney, who's like the professor of Divination, and she's also the great great granddaughter of the celebrated Sir Cassandra Trelawney. And Emma Thompson, like she doesn't really play that big of a part here, but I loved it every time Emma Thompson came on screen. I mean, if I did a list of like my 10 favorite minor Harry Potter characters, I gotta say, Trelawney will probably be in that list. Like Emma Thompson played that role perfectly, and she was pretty cool. Like she wore the glasses pretty well. I didn't really read the Azkaban books, so I don't really know how the characters portray in the books. And Emma Thompson has reprised her role a couple of other times before. I believe the last one was to reprise her role in the last Deathly Hallows movie, and she also played the role again in Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, I really loved Emma Thompson. That's like, if they ever end up having this character in another Fantastic Beasts movie, whoever plays this role will be hard to top Emma Thompson, because she was that great here. Alright, coming in at number 4 is another Alan Rickman movie, and that's a film that he directed called The Winter Guest. Now, in it, the film takes place in winter at a Scottish village near the sea, and the film is about features multiple lives in a day, and you got Frances, played by Thompson, who has just ended up losing her husband to a early death. So her mother, Elspeth, played by Philia Laura, travels to Frances' house to reconnect with her daughter and grandson named Alex, played by Gary Holloway. Meanwhile, an old woman named Chloe, played by Sandra Oh, and Lily, played by Sheila Reid, go to a funeral, and you got youngsters like Sam and Tom, played by Douglas Murphy and Sean Biggerstaff, who cuts class, and Alex also has like a crush on a tomboy named Anita, played by Arlen Cockburn. I mean, this is different stories all rolled into one, and the Emma Thompson story was pretty decent. I thought like her story is really touching in this, and Alan Rickman, he only has like a small little cameo here, and his cameo is pretty good. Now, this is kind of a bit of an underrated film. I mean, the movie got released in the 90s, and people barely talk about it. It's actually a really good film, and Alan Rickman directed this movie pretty well. Like, If you guys never seen The Winter Guest, it's another interesting Emma Thompson movie. Coming in at number 3 is Primary Colors. Now, the film is based on a best-selling novel of Clef, and it's about like it's kind of like a fictional story of Bill Clinton's 1992 run for the White House. Like the movie isn't all about it features John Travolta as a different character, but it's like similar to Bill Clinton because in the film, John Travolta's character is like running for president, and of course his character ends up having an affair with another woman, similar to the Bill Clinton situation back in the 90s. And you also got Emma Thompson actually plays his wife in it. Emma Thompson and John Travolta, them together, were pretty cool casting. You also got Adrienne Lester, who plays like a young and gift, who plays the young and gifted Henry Byrne, who who ends up tapping to oversee the presidential campaign of Governor Jack Stamp, played by John Travolta. And you also have Billy Bob Thornton as an outspoken advisor named Richard Jemmons in it. Pretty good film. And you also have Kathy Bates was in this. She was pretty decent. Like, this was a pretty cool political film. John Travolta and Emma Thompson, they had some pretty good on-screen chemistry. Like, Emma Thompson was sort of the Hillary Clinton role in this, and John Travolta was obviously the Bill Clinton role. And after seeing this, I'll be down if they ever got Emma Thompson play Hillary Clinton. That would have been cool casting. And like towards the film, she also ends up becoming like the first lady as well, and it's a pretty good political satire film. And I mean, the movie got released in the 90s, and it's probably not a film that holds up today. But if you guys never seen Primary Color, it's a really good one. Alright, coming in at number 2 is Love Actually, which, surprise, surprise, also featured Alan Rickman in that. Boy, those two were really good friends. And the Winter Guest, this movie also is like different stories all rolled into one. Like, you got Alan Rickman as a character named Harry, who's the director of a design agency, and you got Mia, played by Hayek Makatash, who's his new secretary, and Harry is also married to Emma Thompson's character, but Harry ends up being pretty much being infatuated with Mia, and you guys, like, he ends up pretty much wants to get with his secretary. That's pretty much the gist of that story. And Alan Rickman, his character was never that likable. He was good in it, but not his character. And Emma Thompson, like, I really loved Emma Thompson as Alan Rickman's wife. Those two have really awesome chemistry together. And they really showed it in Love Actually. And they, of course, showed it in The Winter Guest and Sense and Sensibility. Those two work together. Like, they work together really well. And the stories in Love Actually is it's pretty much an instant romantic classic, and has probably one of the best casts I've seen in a romantic film. Like, it has Liam Neeson, Hugh Grant, Laura Linney is in that, the aforementioned Billy Bob Thornton. You also have who else was in Love Actually? Oh boy, so many people in Love Actually. It's really hard to tell everyone, like, to mention everyone all at once. But yeah, Love Actually is just amazing. It's a film you could probably watch around Valentine's and Christmas, because there's like Christmas. Like, the film also takes place during Christmas, so there's that. Really classic film. If you guys never seen Love Actually by now, directed by Richard Curtis, give it a shot. It's really good. Alright, my number one favorite Emma Thompson movie of all time. It's probably more of a modern one, but she's that great in this. That is, my number one pick is Saving Mr. Banks. Now, it's kind of, In Nanny McPhee, like I said, that movie was like in the vein of Mary Poppins, and it's funny because Emma Thompson played the author of Mary Poppins in Saving Mr. Banks. I love this movie. It's a really great, amazing film. You got Tom Hanks, who I thought was great at playing the role of Walt Disney. I mean, they made Tom Hanks look so great as Walt Disney. And you also had Colin Farrell, who I think probably should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this. I mean, Colin Farrell actually outacted both Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks. He was that great in this film. And the movie, pretty much, like, believe it or not, P.L. Travers, played by Thompson, never really cared much for, like, she did not want the Mary Poppins movie she got made, and there was lots of dramas surrounding it. And thankfully the movie got made. I mean, Mary Poppins is just, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Mary Poppins is just a classic. I mean, come on. And I really like the chemistry between P.L. Travers and Walt Disney. Like, I don't know how great their chemistry was in real life, but on screen with Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson, their chemistry was great. Like, I liked it when they were on that merry-go-round. Their chemistry on that was pretty cool. Such a great movie, and it's a history lesson film, and it's great. I mean, if you guys never seen Saving Mr. Banks, got released in 2013, I think it's kind of underrated. I mean, not a lot of people really have talked about the movie since then, but check it out. Check Saving Mr. Banks out. It's a fantastic movie, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's really good. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the countdown. Number 10, Howard's End. 9, The Remains of the Days. 8, Stranger Than Fiction. 7, Nanny McPhee. 6, Sense and Sensibility. 5, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. 4, The Winter Guest. 3, Primary Colors. 2, Love Actually. 1, Saving Mr. Banks. And there's lots of other ones I probably could have added. Alright. Let me go down her credit list. Alright, Nanny McPhee returns, wasn't all that great, to be honest, yeah. She was in the Children Act, which I actually haven't seen yet. She was in Men in Black 3, of course. She reprised her role for the next one. Much Ado About Nothing, directed by Kenneth Branagh, is a good one. Let's see. F.A. Gray with Dakota Fanning. Wit. Dead Again. She was in the Daniel Day-Lewis film In the Name of the Father. She was the voice of Maria's mother in Brave. She was in An Education, Last Chance Harvey, speaking of Dustin Hoffman. She was pretty good in The Walk in the Woods with Pierce Brosnan. She was in Henry VIII, also directed by Kenneth Branagh. Beautiful Creature she was in. Brideshead Revisited. She was in the last Bridget Jones movie. Sorry. Most recent, she lent her voice to Missing Link. She was in the movie Burnt. The Myra Stories with Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, and Dustin Hoffman. She's in that new movie Last Christmas that's coming out this November. Treasure Planet. She also she had a narration in Men, Women, and Children, which also featured Adam Sandler in it. She was also in Junior. She was in I Am Legend. I keep forgetting she was in I Am Legend. Judas Kiss. So pretty good. Like, Emma Thompson has been in some really high-profile stuff over the years. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Emma Thompson movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.